William Shakespeare said, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." Good night's sleep, bad dream. Good weather, bad storms. Good meal, bad service. Our lives are peppered with the good and the bad, but they don't have to be. In fact, they shouldn't be. Constantly assigning things with the designation as good or bad wastes both time and energy, preventing us from evolving more quickly. For those of you with children that have participated in sports, you've most likely encountered at least one of those maniacal coaches whose primary technique is yelling at players, sometimes with rhetorical questions such as, "What are you doing?" Contrast that with UCLA's 10-time NCAA basketball championship coach, John Wooden. He was studied during practices for his comments to players, and the researchers recorded and coded more than 2,000 discrete acts of teaching. Of these, only 6.9% were compliments, and 6.6% were expressions of displeasure. The vast majority, 75%, were pure information, simple directions on how to play basketball. Coach Wooden didn't waste time with good and bad. He objectively told the players what he wanted them to do and had them immediately do it. What if we took that approach in business? Two areas tend to garner most of our good-bad assessments at work: people and process. Can you recall one full week where you didn't rate the actions, performance, or style of a boss, colleague, customer, supplier, or vendor as good or bad? Or a week where a strategy, meeting, decision, or other process wasn't labeled as good or bad? Probably not. The norm of instantly judging, assigning a rating of good or bad to things, significantly limits our ability to improve our people, processes, and business performance. It's a habit so intricately ingrained in our lives that it's a constant work in progress to overcome. And precisely because most executives won't have the discipline or commitment to overcome the act of immediate judgment is the reason it can give you a huge advantage in your career. Practicing non-judgmental observation doesn't mean that we ignore what's happening. It means we observe people, situations, processes, etc. as they are without categorizing them as good or bad. This level of objective observation enables us to immediately assess and make modifications where appropriate, moving us closer to an improved condition. Not judging things as good or bad also prevents people and processes from being labeled and needlessly condemning them to a category for one issue, where there may be many other things to consider. For instance, labeling someone as too tactical would be better described with objective detail to help them improve. Transforming too tactical into one of the following descriptions provides the objective detail needed to help them shed that image and think, act, and plan strategically. He is reactive and wasting too much time on fire drills. She doesn't have a strategic plan driving her activities. He doesn't understand the difference between strategy and tactics. These statements all point us in a direction that can help them improve and, just as important, don't needlessly label someone as tactical, which becomes quite difficult to shed. I've developed a simple formula for helping executives move out of the judgment, mindset, and behavior. Awareness, objectivity, and evolution. Awareness. Perhaps the biggest challenge in moving to non-judgmental observation is awakening ourselves to the moments that we're judging people or things as good or bad. This is because judging has often become a habit. Researchers from MIT have broken a habit down into 3 phases. To change your habit of judging things as good or bad, look to change the second element, routine, by replacing judgment with another behavior such as the mantra, listen with an open mind. Objectivity. Once we're aware of the judgmental situation, it's helpful to adopt a mindset of objectivity. Here, I like to visualize the dropping of a judge's gavel to signify the dropping of judgment. In this phase, we're reminding ourselves that it isn't good or bad, but rather we're assessing the situation to determine the current state and how it differs from the ideal future state. Evolution. After we've determined the difference between the current state and the ideal future state, we now chart the path from where we are to where we want to go. Here we can imagine UCLA coach John Wooden ask, what instruction can I provide to guide this process of development for myself or others? There's a strange satisfaction that comes from labeling people, processes, or other items as good or bad. In some senses, it feels like we've made a decision and gives us permission to stop thinking about the issue. Ultimately, though, we haven't improved the situation. Practicing non-judgmental observation requires awareness, objectivity, and evolution. It can dramatically improve your effectiveness as a leader and the productivity and performance of your business. The question is, can you drop the gavel?